Fake Bitwarden ads on Facebook are luring users to install a malicious Chrome extension that steals sensitive data. How can users identify this type of scam and avoid falling victim to it? Black Friday's coming up, and attackers are deploying fake discount sites to steal personal and financial data from online shoppers in Europe and the United States. They are also exploiting the deceptive power of SVG, or scalable vector graphic attachments, to bypass security measures and deliver phishing payloads unnoticed. Over 4 million WordPress sites are vulnerable to a critical flaw in the Really Simple Security plugin that could allow attackers full administrative control. You're listening to the Daily Decrypt. Fake Bitwarden ads running on Facebook have become a tool for pushing an information-stealing Chrome extension aimed at capturing sensitive user data. This malicious campaign exploits the growing user base of the trustworthy Bitwarden password manager, and this attack is specifically targeting users migrating from other competitor password managers because the migration process is pretty tough, so attackers will be preying on the desperation to make that process easier. The deception begins with advertisements masquerading as urgent notifications about outdated Bitwarden software, directing users to a counterfeit website, chromewebstoredownload.com, which is a fake version of the official Chrome Web Store. The users will then download a zip file that bypasses Chrome's security safeguards by enabling developer mode for manual extension installation. Once it's installed, this fake extension will operate under the name Bitwarden Password Manager, granting itself problematic permissions. Its main goal is to harvest Facebook cookies, especially the C user cookie, as well as the IP, geolocation, and billing data through Facebook's public API. It will even manipulate browser elements to display deceptive messages, all while funneling encoded sensitive information to an attacker-controlled Google script URL. It's really easy to fall into this type of trap because there is a little bit of desperation to make the process easier. So you're searching through what you believe is a safe area. You find a branded add-on that can make it easier, that looks like the tool you're migrating to. And without doing any research, you're just going to click on it. Well, here is your official reminder to only download add-ons through the official Chrome Web Store that should just add it on. I shouldn't be downloading a zip file or going to the BitLocker Bitwarden website and navigating through there until you can find this add-on. In fact, Bitwarden may be using this Black Friday coming up to lure you over to their services with maybe a discount code or extended trial or something like that. But you have to make sure that that is a legitimate website, because a sophisticated phishing campaign has emerged targeting unsuspecting e-commerce shoppers across Europe and the United States ahead of this upcoming Black Friday. The campaign is attributed to the Chinese threat actor known as SilkSpecter and preys on heightened online shopping activity by creating fraudulent websites that mimic respected brands such as IKEA, LL Bean, North Face, and Wayfair. These counterfeit sites will leverage top-level domains like .top, .shop, .vip, and they entice users with fake discount codes, subsequently tricking them into submitting sensitive information, including credit card information and other personally identifiable information. SilkSpecter's campaign is suspected to propagate through tactics like social media proliferation, as well as SEO poisoning involving maliciously manipulated search results that redirect users to fraudulent e-commerce pages like the ones mentioned above, which is similar to a story we covered a couple weeks ago about Fish and Ships that also involved these tactics. And their main goal, like we had already mentioned, is to steal your financial information. So what can you do to prevent this type of attack from succeeding on your credit card information? Well, the Britain's National Cybersecurity Center advises consumers to implement two-step verification, as well as remaining wary of suspiciously urgent purchasing prompts. Basically, continue to have multiple layers of security checks. But what's also interesting is try to use credit over debit as much as possible. It's really easy to get out of fraudulent credit card activity through the bank, but debit makes it a little more difficult because they're actually moving your money versus the bank's money. So try to always use a credit card when online shopping. In fact, this video is not sponsored in any way, but I use a service called Privacy, which can generate credit card numbers for single-use purpose. You can actually set limits. You can make it a one-time use credit card, and it will definitely help prevent this type of thing from happening. It's free, actually, up to a certain number of cards. So anytime I'm online shopping, I have this app generate a credit card number for me. And then once I use it, it's done. It's a single-use credit card. So even if someone did happen to steal the credit card number, they wouldn't be able to do anything with it. And those tips should help keep you safe when you're shopping. But the main attack you always have to keep an eye out for is phishing. It continues to be the most prevalent, successful attack on everyday users like you and me. So threat actors have adopted a new approach to bypass email security by utilizing scalable vector graphics or SVG attachments in their phishing campaigns, specifically to display phishing forms or even to deploy malware. So unlike typical image files like JPEG or PNG, which rely on pixels, SVG files are composed of mathematical formulas using lines, shapes, and text. So instead of pixels, SVG essentially just uses numbers, which allows scalable vector graphic images or SVG images to resize without losing any quality. You can zoom in infinitely because it's just numbers. Recent examples illustrate SVG files masquerading as fake Excel spreadsheets with built-in login forms designed to steal credentials once submitted. In some cases, these files act as fronts for downloading malware from remote sites disguised as official documents or requests for information. Despite their potential, SVG attachments seldom trigger security alerts, with analysis revealing minimal detections across major software solutions. In fact, experts warn that receiving SVG attachments is not normal for ordinary emails. So if you do happen to see that you're receiving an SVG, you should just immediately delete that email. You know, of course, unless they're explicitly expected. If you're a graphic designer, you're going to be working with SVGs all the time. Or if you're receiving something for print, something like that, that's a normal instance. But SVGs are not a normal way to share images or any sort of file. So if you see one, run for the hills. And our final story, we're talking about WordPress again. WordPress is constantly in the news because of the amount of plugins it uses, and oftentimes they don't automatically update. So the Really Simple Security plugin for WordPress is used on over 4 million websites, and it's the subject of our story, harboring a critical authentication bypass vulnerability. This vulnerability has been assigned a CVSS score of 9.8 out of 10 and can be leveraged to seize full administrative control of susceptible sites remotely. The vulnerability affects both the free and the paid plugin versions, permitting automated large-scale attacks due to its scriptable nature. This vulnerability was discovered by WordFence, which is a competitive security plugin, and they've identified that this gap stems from inadequate user check error handling within the check login and get user function, exposing even administrative accounts when two-factor authentication is enabled. The maintainers of this plugin swiftly patched the issue in version 9.1.2 and was released within a week of its disclosure on November 6th. So if you're an administrator of a WordPress site like I am and you use the Really Simple Security plugin, make sure to log into your admin portal right away and click that Update Now button.
This has been the Daily Decrypt. If you found your key to unlocking the digital domain, show your support with a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It truly helps us stand at the frontier of cyber news. Don't forget to connect on Instagram or catch our episodes on YouTube. Until next time, keep your data safe and your curiosity alive.